One of the things I love that I saw a video that you were doing about like using the Superman posture well when you play, and I just actually got done reading a book called The Alter Ego Effect, and it's about creating this persona to help you to deal with stress or anxiety or to become your better self.
I
And
am Sasha Fierce.
yes, you are Sasha Fierce. Yeah, exactly. But it's how there's a level of physiology, like he talks about like totems or relics or things that you can use to activate that alter ego. But a lot of it, like the physiology, affects the psychology. And with music being both a physical action and a mental, emotional, spiritual expression, the physiology helps. So like what prompted you to use that Superman concept? Is there like a point where that came to you?
Well, the description has changed over the years, and I don't know exactly when that one particularly popped into my head, but it's a kind of a useful and in my mind like an obvious analogy, because what you always see superheroes like ready to pounce, ready to but really it stems back to, I mean, I was 7 years old when I had my first lesson in martial arts. I started out with Tung Soo Do, and we were you're taught proper posture as part of the technique of throwing punches and kicks, and then I was 14 when I first joined drum corps. And same thing, marching technique addresses posture. So the postural consideration has always been very much in the front of my mind. And whether it was somebody screaming at me to keep like in drum corps, like shoulders back, or it was just in a more low key way. It's always been a thought, and I guess I was just searching for a way to explain. It was probably when I was talking to like either my nephew or some other kid, like Natalie Dungy when she was little or whatever. It was probably in one of those moments where I wanted to make it sort of a more whimsical analogy. It's like, be the superhero version of yourself, and try to do exactly what you were talking about, like turn them on to the idea that now when I assume this posture, I'm assuming a personality shift that also involves more confidence, that involves the expectation that things are going to come easier to me. It's always been part of my world, whether it was drum corps or martial arts or in yoga or whatever, and just putting it to words has felt, or putting it to these particular descriptions that I'm choosing now, seems to be really helpful for people. And just a couple of follow-up little descriptions are helpful. But even just saying "stand like a superhero," and automatically people kind of know what that instinctively, what
Right.
that feels like, what that is.
Yeah, it's like so much of the technical jargon that we've developed over the years. They're just basic ways of people trying to explain what they're doing, and half the time it doesn't make any sense to anyone other than the person that's
Yeah.
explaining it. It's like, well, breathe from your belly, or do this, or do that. But when you say something like that, like superhero, that's such an image that's ingrained so deeply in our conscious that you don't even need to try to imagine, well, what was a superhero stand like? It just it's there. So
And what I like about that description is that it addresses the physical thing, the posture. It addresses sort of a mental state, like an expectation or aspiration toward greatness, and also it speaks to kind of a level of humanity as well, unless we're talking about like Watchmen characters, but general superheroes where there's a vibe of selflessness or sacrifice or just a general willingness to do good which is another way that music and life kind of find themselves intrinsically linked for me is where I'm not out there just trying to like shake my dick at people. I'm really trying to like open my heart, be vulnerable and really share something honest and make them feel something, that they walk away better from having experienced, just a moment of that can only really come when it's not about me trying to present myself as a dominant figure in that moment, an alpha figure. I'm really just trying to like turn people on to the idea that we could all achieve something on this level, and try to get them, at least into the idea of maybe checking me out and following a little bit more about what I'm all about and how my teaching usually goes, so that they can, see what it takes to get to that level of either physical training or that kind of mental approach where, I know there are guys like Keith Jarrett who love to, or, Herbie Hancock who each have their different routines, but they each enter into kind of a meditative state for like an hour or 45 minutes or whatever before a gig. And I don't usually have that kind of, I can't do that, normally circumstances don't allow for that kind of thing. So I need to be like on all the time. I feel like I'm ready to go. And I like for people to sort of see that, I'm casual before the gig. I'm walking around, hey, what's up? How you doing? Yeah, cool. Or, engaging in whatever, and then I can just walk right on stage, be the same person, and not have to make a major shift and go through some long ritual to prepare myself for greatness. It's just kind of it's always on.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I was years ago I was taking lessons from Vaughn Nark. Vaughn was with Airmen a Note for a gazillion years. And my first lesson with him, it was kind of sneaky, actually, what he did, that bastard. He's like, oh, man, go downstairs and warm up. I'm going to pour myself a cup of coffee. So I go downstairs and I go through my warm-up routine. And I'm there for, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes or whatever. And he comes downstairs after that period and he goes, I really wasn't pouring coffee. I just wanted to hear your warm-up. And I wanted to hear how you approach the horn. And I know why you're having the problems you're having. And here's what they are. And so we talked about the warm-up, and he was talking about the warm-up and saying so many players use the warm-up more as a psychological crutch than actually a physical warm-up. And it's the, hey, if I don't get my 45 minutes or my hour or hour and a half, then I can't play. Also the thing, like, most guys leave their best playing in the practice room, so he was saying, no, if you're playing every day, you're basically warmed up. You may need to do a few little things just to get things moving. But in general, you should just be able to pick up the horn and let it fly.
Totally. And continue.
Oh, no, but I was going to say, but that ties in then also because I would tell my martial arts students when, I was teaching, it's like, if you're training for self-defense, granted, if we're in class, you want to warm up as best as you can because, we're going to train really hard. But here's the truth of the matter is, if you can't throw a good kick or a good punch without a warm-up, then this is not going to help you.
Yeah.
If you're in a self-defense situation, because you can't say, hey, don't attack yet. I need my 25 minutes to do my stretches and things like that. So you have to be able to switch yourself on and off and get into that peak state immediately.
Absolutely. And that has to do with, I think it draws attention to it raises the question, what is your normal state? What is your normal resting state? Are you at a level of physical or mental stress, tension, anxiety, whatever that creates the need for a shift before you're ready to bring your A game? Or are you kind of doing what's necessary throughout your life to develop a stronger kind of resting state where you're kind of already in your A game? It's one of those things where I always expect the highest level of performance from myself, not just on stage, but in the way that I engage with everyone in every conversation that I have. So it feels like there's very little difference between game time and and the prep and the rest of my time. I'm sort of living in that state.